Whispers in the Dark, A Family's Forbidden Desire, True Infidelity Story. I never imagined that a single moment could change everything. A moment where the invisible lines we draw between right and wrong blur into nothingness, where the whispers in the dark become louder than the voice of reason. But here I am, caught in the middle of a secret, a forbidden desire that should never have been awakened. I have a family, a life many would envy. My husband, Michael, is everything I once dreamed of. He's a hard-working man, dependable and kind-hearted. We've been married for 15 years, through thick and thin, raising 2 children in a house that, on the outside, seems perfect. But behind closed doors, the cracks are beginning to show. Our love, once a flame that burned bright, now flickers in the shadows. It wasn't always like this. There was a time when I would wake up in Michael's arms, his smile the first thing I saw every morning. There was laughter in our home, love in every touch, every glance. But over the years, things have changed. The laughter has faded and the warmth between us has cooled. We have become 2 strangers sharing a life together, each of us consumed by our own routines, our own worlds. Then came Lily, my niece, only 19 years old, with a smile that lit up a room and a spark in her eyes that reminded me of the girl I once was. I never expected that her presence in our home would cause such a storm. But the moment she walked through our door, everything shifted. At first, I told myself it was just her youth, her exuberance that made her so captivating. She was everything I once was, alive, free, unburdened by the weight of adult responsibilities. But there was something else. Something in the way she looked at me. Something in her gaze that felt different. It wasn't just admiration. It was something deeper. Connection I couldn't explain, but I felt it. And the worst part? I didn't want to push it away. Every day that passed, Lily's presence began to affect me more and more. Her laughter echoed in the halls, her youthful energy filling the rooms with life. But as she blossomed into the beautiful young woman she was becoming, I began to feel a longing, a desire I had buried deep within me for years. A desire I thought was reserved for my husband. But with Lily it was different. It was something forbidden. It started with small moments. Glances that lingered too long, touches that seemed too intimate for an aunt and her niece. I tried to dismiss them, tried to convince myself it was just in my head. But then came the night when I could no longer deny it. It was late one evening, and Michael had gone to bed early, exhausted from a long day. I was in the kitchen preparing a late snack when Lily walked in. She was wearing one of my old sweaters, the one I used to wear when I was her age, and she looked at me with such intensity. I felt like she was seeing straight through me. "Do you ever feel like there's something more to life?" she asked, her voice soft, almost a whisper. I froze, the knife I was holding slipping from my fingers and clattering onto the countertop. I turned to face her, my heart racing. The way she looked at me, it was like she was seeing me in a way no one else ever had. It wasn't the innocent gaze of a niece looking up to her aunt. It was something else, something charged, something dangerous. "I don't know what you mean," I said, my voice trembling, but my words felt hollow. I couldn't lie to her. Not when I knew exactly what she was talking about. She stepped closer, her hand brushing against mine. "I think you do," she said, her voice barely audible, but it carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken words. The air between us was thick with tension, a quiet storm that was about to break. I should have pulled away, should have stopped this before it went any further, but I couldn't. I didn't want to. Before I knew it, she was standing so close that I could feel the heat of her body radiating toward mine. Her eyes were locked onto mine, and for the first time in a long time, I felt alive, desired, wanted. Her lips brushed against mine in a tentative kiss. At first, I thought it was just a fleeting moment, a mistake. But it wasn't. It was real. I didn't pull away. Instead, I kissed her back. It was soft at first, but the desire between us built with every passing second. I had crossed the line. I had gone from being the responsible, caring aunt to something else entirely, someone who was now part of a forbidden, dangerous secret. When the kiss finally ended, I pulled away, breathless, my heart pounding in my chest. Lily smiled, but it wasn't the innocent smile I'd seen 1,000 times. This was different. This was a smile that knew the secret we had just shared. "I knew you felt it too," she whispered, and that was when I realized that nothing would ever be the same again. The secret was out. The line had been crossed. The days that followed were filled with a growing sense of guilt and desire. Every time Lily looked at me, my heart would race. Every time she touched me, I felt a spark I couldn't ignore. But the guilt was always there, eating away at me, reminding me of who I was, of what I was doing. I tried to avoid her, tried to pretend nothing had changed, but every time I saw her, every time she was near, I was reminded of what we had shared. I felt trapped between 2 worlds. One where I was a wife, a mother, a respected member of my family, and another where I was something else entirely, something I couldn't explain or control. Michael began to notice the change in me. He didn't know what was happening, but he could feel it. He would reach for me in bed and I would pull away. He would try to kiss me and I would turn my head. But it wasn't because I didn't love him. It was because I couldn't stop thinking about Lily. One night, after Michael had gone out for another business trip, Lily and I were alone again. This time, there was no denying it. The air between us was thick with tension, and I knew that we couldn't go on like this. She looked at me with those same intense eyes, and I knew what she wanted. She didn't need to say it. "I think we both know what needs to happen next," Lily said, her voice calm, but her words carried a weight I couldn't escape. I stood there frozen, caught between what was right and what felt so wrong but so right at the same time. I knew that if I crossed this line, there would be no turning back. But as I looked into her eyes, I realized that I had already crossed it. As I stand here now on the edge of a decision that could destroy everything, I know I can't go back. The whispers in the dark are no longer just whispers. They are loud and demanding. The secret is out and the consequences are looming, but the truth is, I'm not sure I want to stop. What would you do if you were in my place? Have you ever felt a temptation so strong that you knew it could change everything? Share your thoughts, your stories, or your feelings in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Join me on this journey and stay tuned for more stories that reveal the deepest corners of the human heart.